This is CS952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design. And the last thing we were doing is we were working on cleaning up our form. Let's have a look at this real quick in live view. And I'm going to switch over here to split view. So maybe space these down a little bit. Now, we want to just change a little bit about how these things are displayed. You notice we have our yes button and then we have our no button, and they're on top of each other. And the reason that they're on top of each other is we have this BR here. This is a line break. BR is HTML for a line break. And if we just get rid of this, we're going to have yes and no next to each other, which I think is fine. I don't think we need to have those on two separate lines. So I've highlighted this BR, and I'm just going to hit delete. And you can see as soon as I did that, that the yes and no are now sitting right next to each other, right? I'm going to hit refresh. Now we want to group these two yes and no buttons together. We want to group them together and put them in what we call a field set. Let me slide this up a little bit, make a little bit more room now to see what we're doing. We want to put these in a field set. So the way that we put these in a field set is we're going to highlight everything from this opening paragraph tag down to the bottom paragraph tag. Or, right, we can click our paragraph tag here in the status bar. We're going to choose Form Field Set. So over here in our insert under Form, if we scroll on down, we can see that here is our field set. So we're going to select Field Set. And we get a dialog box. It's the legend. The legend is the text that goes along with our field set. And so we're going to type, would you like to be on our email list? Okay. Now we've got a nice big old would you like to be on our email list, and yes or no. The would you like to be on our email list is somewhat large. In fact, it's a little bit too large. We can change that. This is the default size for a field set tag in Bootstrap. So we're just going to create a new rule in our styles rule, and we'll make it a little bit more like the size of everything else. So I'm going to hit refresh here, and I want to make sure I got my field set selected here in my status bar. And I'm sure you may be familiar with this routine by now. We're going to go to our CSS designer. We want to make sure that we have styles selected, because that's where we're saving all the customized code for our website. I'm going to click on global because this is going to be a rule. It's going to be a global rule. And then I'm going to click on add a selector. And when I do, we get a selector that says contact.formgroup.fieldset. And really, that's not exactly what we want. What we want is certainly field set. So I can type the word field set, or I can just hit the up arrow key twice. Okay? We want field set. That's correct. But I also want to make sure that we target the legend, because legend is actually the thing that's too big. It's not the field set that's too big, it's the legend. So I'm going to hit space so that we have a space between these two words and type in legend, L-E-G-E-N-D. Now you might be wondering, hey, where's the period and where's the pound sign, right? We always have a period and a pound sign, class or ID. Well, field set and legend are both basic HTML tags. They're like basic building blocks of the web. Just like when we made a style rule for our H2 tag. That's a basic building block of the web. These two tags are as old as the internet itself. So they're not a class, they're not an ID, they're a basic fundamental HTML building block. So in that case, if it's an HTML tag, we don't have to put a pound or a dollar or the pound sign or a period. Straight type it right on out there. This is what we're going to. This is the selector that we want, field set and legend. So I'm going to hit enter. Come on. I want to change the size of my text to be 14 pixels in size. So I'm going to click on my text icon here, which is going to scoot me right down to my text properties. And I'm going to click down here, and I'm looking for font size. Font size, here we go. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to use pixels for my unit of measurement. My field set disappeared because right now there's 0 pixels in size. And I'm going to type in 14 for 14 pixels. And now it's the same size, but it's not bold like our other text is. So to do that, we just go to font weight and we say, yeah, let's make that bold. Now the would you like to be on our email list looks the same as the rest of our work. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save all this nice work that we've done. What I like to do is I think we can save a little little time here by copying this big old form group that we have and just making a few little changes to it. We have one more thing we want to add to our form. In my status bar, I've clicked on div.formGroup, and I'm going to copy that. I can right click and just choose copy, and I'm going to paste it right after this, right after our existing form group. Hitting enter to make myself a new line. I'm going to right click and choose paste. Okay. So, and then I'll hit refresh, F5 to refresh. So now I actually have 2 of these buttons that say, would you like to be on our email list? So here's what we're going to do. For our legend, okay, right, our legend we had, would you like to be on our email list? So I'm going to highlight, would you like to be on our email list, and I'm going to change it to, which pages would you visit again? It's very optimistic, right? It assumes that there are pages that you would like to visit again. And I'm going to let's hit refresh. Let me get rid of this paragraph tag. We're just going to take all that stuff out. We're keeping the legend, but we're getting rid of the stuff that's inside of it. And now I'm going to hit enter just to give myself I always like to have a nice clean line to get started working with. From our insert panel, we're going to include a checkbox group. So I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to choose checkbox group. Okay? And then we need to give it a name. So for the name, I'm going to type in favorite, Favorite, and then I'm going to put in a left bracket and a right bracket. And if you're a computer geek, you might recognize this as an array. And an array basically means we have a group of items, but they all belong to the same thing, right? In this case, our array is going to be pages that people might like to visit again. And for our first 2, we're going to go down here to our labels and values again, and I'm going to type in home for my first label, give it a value of home, and then for my second one, I'm going to say gallery, Gallery, and give it a value of gallery, Gallery. Now we need to add another checkbox, and we do that by clicking on the little plus, got another checkbox. And for our third one, we're going to type in history, History, with a value of history. Okay, let's give ourselves one more checkbox here, and you're probably going to have to scroll down and see this next checkbox. And we're going to type in media with a value of media. We haven't worked on the media page yet. And that's good. So now they can select 4 different pages they'd like to visit again, and we're going to say OK. Alrighty. So now this is probably starting to look like something you recognize, right? We've got our 4 little check boxes. People can say, let us know which of the pages would they like to visit again. Probably a good place to take a break, and we'll come back. We're almost done. We just need to add in our submit buttons, and then we'll be all set.